Dear students, in today's lecture we will discuss basically the physiological process of seed germination. As we have discussed in our previous lecture that seed germination is basically rupturing of testa and emergence of plumule. All the viable seeds which have the ability to germinate or which are living, they overcome the dormancy whenever there is conditions suitable for the germination are available, so they germinate. And what kind of conditions suitable for the germination? For example, water is available in appropriate amount, oxygen, temperature, and in some cases light is also necessary for carrying out the process of germination. So such seeds wait for the suitable environmental conditions. They germinate on the approach of favorable situations. The process of seed germination starts with the imbibition of water by the seed coat and emergence of growing root tips. As the definition of the seed germination indicate, we define seed germination as rupturing of testa. So rupture, how testa will rupture? By imbibing the water. So when it will imbibe the water, then seed coat will expand, and as a result rupturing will occur. So first, physiological, biochemical and other changes accompanying seed germination. The first of all, whenever germination starts, first process is water uptake. Seed germination always starts with the imbibition of water by a dry seed coat, which is purely a physical process. Various hydrophilic groups such as amino group, hydroxyl group, and carboxyl groups of the proteins, polymeric carbohydrates, etc., are found in this seed coat, which attracts the dipolar water molecule and form hydrated shell around them, resulting in the swelling of substances. And this water uptake by swelling is followed by intensive water uptake associated with the germination. Due to imbibition of water, the seed coat becomes more permeable to the oxygen and water because of imbibition, and then it is less resistant to outward growth of the embryo, and it becomes very flexible, very fragile, and is easy to rupture. Whenever embryo will grow into seedling or into plumule, they will not provide any resistance to the growing embryo. After water uptake, second process in the germination is respiration. The uptake is accompanied by increased in rate of respiration of the embryo. Initially, there may be an anaerobic respiration because there is no availability of water, but but soon it is replaced by the aerobic condition because of availability of oxygen. And why oxygen is available? Because water has been uptaken by the seed, and as a result oxygen is available. As compared to dry seed, uptake of oxygen in germination seeds may rise within very short period after germination has started. Sucrose is basically the respiratory substrate at this stage, which is provided by the endosperm. After the uptake of the water and the respiration has started, then next step is the mobilization of reserve material, because germinating seedling is not enabled to do photosynthesis for itself. So if it has to grow, it has to mobilize the reserve food materials which are present in the seed, so that the germinating seedling use these reserves to germinate and to do the various physiological processes for the survival and growth and development of the plant. As germination progress, there is mobilization of reserve food materials to provide building blocks for the development of embryo and energy for the biosynthetic processes and as well as nucleic acid for the control of for protein synthesis and overall embryonic development. Changes in these compounds during seed germinations are described. First of all, nucleic acid in monocots during imbibitional stage of seed germination. There is rapid decrease in the DNA and RNA content in adenosperm with simultaneous increase in embryonic axis, and as a result appreciable amount of RNA appears in the aileron layer after 16 hours, which probably due to its de novo synthesis. Higher concentration of RNA in embryonic axis precedes cell division. Then carbohydrates. Insoluble carbohydrates such as starch is present in the cereals, foods of endosperm. During germination, starch is hydrolyzed into amylase, and then this is converted into glucose and maltose. Glucose is absorbed by scutellum and converted into soluble sucrose and transported to the growing embryonic axis so that they can achieve the energy for the development. During germination, embryonic axis secretes gibberellic acid into aileron layer, and this activity of enzyme the activity of enzyme maltase is also regulated by the gibberellic acid. Then lipid. Many plants like castor beans, etc., they have large amount of lipids and fats as reserve food materials. During germination, these fats are brought about by hydrolysis of fats to fatty acid and glycerol to the lipases. And activity of lipases is stimulated by imbibition, and in some cases, they may be de novo synthesis of gibberellic acid. Synthesis of two key enzymes such as glycoxylate acid, isocitrate, and maltase malate synthase that takes place early stages of germination. Their concentration increases during this stage when fats are being actively converted into sucrose, and they disappears when all stored fat has been consumed. Then more proteins which are stored as a result of materials in the seeds of aileron grains, and mobilization of these proteins include hydrolytic cleavage into amino acids by peptidases, and these enzymes were synthesized as the germination starts as the alpha amylase is synthesized, and during seed germination there is active synthesis of enzymes and other proteins and and formation of different RNA species. Another thing which is mobilized as a result feed material is inorganic materials such as phosphate, calcium, magnesium, and potassium. These are stored in the seed in the form of phytin, and these materials are may activate number of important enzymes which are also liberated during germination so that phosphatases during phytase activity can be achieved. After the mobilization of all reserved food materials, the next step is the emergence of seedling out of the seed coat. All these described above changes gradually results in splitting of seed coat and emergence of the growing seedlings, because energy is present in the form of reserved food materials which has been transported or translocated to the position where they are available and can easily be utilized. So radicle come out and grow outward, downward, and plumule comes out and grows upward. Due to continued growth of seedlings, and the latter comes out of the soil exposed to light and develop the photosynthetic processes. Last step in the seed germination is the splitting of seed coat, and how this occurs. This is actually not the last step. This is the first step in the germination, because splitting of how this process of splitting occurs. Sometimes this is because of imbibitional pressure, or sometimes this is because of the internal pressures of the growing primary root, or by the hydrolytic enzymes which act as which act on the cell wall content of the seed coat and digest it, such as cellulases and pectinases. Sometimes seed coat may extensively brought on by activity of microorganisms in the soil, and this also results in the splitting of the seed coat. I hope this is overall, this is the figure which is actually describing the stages of seed germination. Here is the hypocotyle and the and the radicle is arising. Then see, this is basically the seed coat. After that, seed coat will rupture and radicle will grow downward, and cotyledon will move upward, plumule will move upward, and as a result there is foliage leaves or leaves formation of the leaves. As the leaves arises, then the process of photosynthesis will start. However, over here the seed reserved food materials basically provide the energy for the process of germination. I hope this lecture is informative for understanding the process of germination. Thank you.